Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is fantastic, as you can see from this video. Maybe you can let me know where you are watching the video from. The country, in case you are outside the country. In fact, today I want to really monitor where you are watching it from. Or the county, in case you are inside the republic. In January 2019, President Uhuru Kenyatta issued Executive Order number 1 of 2019. In that executive order, President Uhuru Kenyatta then made Fred Okengo Matiangi the supervisor and the coordinator of all cabinet secretaries. Effectively, what Uhuru Kenyatta did was that he took over all the functions which were previously being performed by William Ruto and handed them over to Fred Matiang'i. By that time, William Ruto had engaged in early campaigns, and Uhuru Kenyatta was not pleased by the early campaigns. Effectively, Matiang'i became one of the enemies of Kenya Kwanza. William Ruto was no longer allowed to go and launch projects which he was doing. He was no longer allowed to go and supervise government projects. And as fate would have it, power is temporary. Today marked the end of Fred Okengo Matiang'i as the cabinet secretary for Interior. And I'm looking at some of the photos which he took, which were shared, which are actually shared online, when he handed over to Professor Kithure Kindiki. I've never seen Fred Matiang'i this happy and laughing. I don't know why, but in this video, I want us to try and figure out what next for Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Before we do that, let me ask you two questions. What do you think William Ruto, through the new cabinet secretary for Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, will do to Matiang'i? Do you think they will arrest him? What about those investigations about the two Indians? Who is the main target? Because I don't think those small officers are the target. Something always tells me that the target is either Karanja Kibicho, Matiang'i, or President Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president. The other question which I want to ask you, do you think Professor Kithure Kindiki will fit into the shoes of Fred Matiang'i? I'm asking this because Fred Matiang'i delivered. Actually was considered to be one of the most hardworking cabinet secretaries. You remove politics of it. I know majority of Kenya Kwanza were not happy with him. You remove politics out of Matiang'i. You go to the Ministry of Education when he was the minister there. His performance speaks for itself. Matiang'i was actually appointed to the Ministry for Interior in July 2017 when the former cabinet secretary for Interior, Joseph Nkaiseri, passed on. From that moment up to now, he was one of the ministers who delivered. Can Professor Kithure Kindiki fit into the shoes? But in this particular video, I want us to look at what next for Matiang'i. Because now, Matiang'i is gone. He's no longer the cabinet secretary for Interior. What next for him? Before we do that, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please, I want you to take a second, just a second, press that subscribe button if you're watching it for the first time. I also know that there are so many of you guys who watch these videos, but they are not yet subscribed. I know because you get the notifications, you might think that you've already subscribed. Please just click that subscribe red button now so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Without that support, we cannot be where we are. And I also want to make an appeal to you guys. The best way you can support this channel is just by pressing that thumbs up button. That's the best way. The other way is by dropping your comments, because from your comments, I also learn a lot. It's important for both of us to learn one or two. And in this one, for this particular video, I know I'm going to take like 2 hours just to read each and every comment and responding to them. So please ensure you drop your comment, what you think about Fred Matiang'i. Now, let us get back to the main issue. What next for Matiang'i? For me, I think, based on emerging issues, the first thing is that Fred Matiang'i can actually be part of President Uhuru Kenyatta's international missions. Uhuru Kenyatta began his first trip to South Africa on the, I think, Ethiopian peace talks. Previously, he had declined to go there. He issued some demands. He began that journey. So I think Fred Matiang'i can actually be part of President Uhuru Kenyatta's international engagement. I'm saying this because just last week, President Uhuru Kenyatta was in Nigeria. He had gone to Nigeria, and during that trip, he was accompanied by Fred Matiang'i. And it should not escape you guys that while in Nigeria, the former president made it very clear to his host that he was able to achieve a lot because of one man, Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Because according to him, he assigned Matiang'i to supervise and coordinate all government activities or the ministries. So probably the Nigerian president would want to try what the president was telling him. But that statement alone confirmed that Uhuru Kenyatta has serious interest in Matiang'i, and also it dilutes those rumors which were circulating in this country that the government had actually taken away Fred Matiang'i's passport, and therefore he could not leave the country. The fact that he went to Nigeria with Uhuru Kenyatta, came back, means that he's a free man. So in my view, he can be part of Uhuru Kenyatta's international engagement. Remember, I want to give you an example of Moi. Moi had Lee, the former state house, it was called Linjiro. No, Linjiro ni ule wa driver. Can you remind me the name of the Lee guy? So that's number one. And it's immediate. Uhuru can engage him to be part of his mission, so that if Uhuru cannot attend the meetings, Matiang'i will always be attending those meetings. Number two is 2027 politics. And this one here will bring him a lot of problems with William Ruto, because William Ruto is keen on 2027. But what role can Matiang'i play as far as 2027 politics is concerned? In my view, he can play it at the national level. Right now, in Nyanza, nobody is emerging as a clear successor to Raila Odinga. In the entire Nyanza, nobody is emerging. People are talking about Simba Arati. Simba Arati will be defending his seat. People are talking about Babu Owino. I doubt if Babu Owino will be able or will be willing to step up in 2027. People are also talking about Eliud Owalo having been appointed to the position of the cabinet secretary. I don't think Owalo would challenge Ruto in 2027. There is also talks of maybe former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero and Okoth Obado. I think Okoth Obado was actually finished by Ruto when he failed to appoint him to the cabinet. So Okengo Matiang'i can actually step up and try to fill the shoes of Raila Odinga. I know Rafael Tuju is still there. I've not heard it from him since he was kicked out. I mean, since William Ruto took over, because he was one of the guys who feared that when Ruto takes over, they will suffer. But the truth is, Okengo Matiang'i can position himself, especially in Kisii politics, on the side of Azimio. Ongwae, who was the immediate former governor, already joined Kenya Kwanza. So which means in Kenya Kwanza, it is full. I don't see Okengo Matiang'i competing with Osoro in Kenya Kwanza. William Ruto has high hopes in Osoro, and that's why he has appointed Osoro to be the chief whip in his government. And the position of the chief chief whip makes Osoro now the senior most politician from that region. He's actually now senior politician. So he can only play 2027 politics on the side of Raila Amolo Odinga. So that's number 2. Number 3, Nyamira. You know, most of cabinet secretaries, the next step they can go to is governor. The governor for Nyamira, Nyaringo, contested on Fred Matiangi's party, and Matiang'i really supported him, and he won. There are several other MCAs who won courtesy of Matiang'i. So Matiang'i can decide, okay, I'm a son of Nyamira, let me go underground, but go to the ground, set up base there, create networks, and when the right time comes, he can make a comeback as the governor for Nyamira. He will easily do that. But again, you never know. Maybe his role as a cabinet secretary tainted his image, because there's a way some of these positions actually taint images of the office holders. And number 4, maybe he can go back to classroom. He was a lecturer. He can write proposals. He was good at that. Consultancy. Matiang'i can decide, okay, let me go back to what I know best. Consultancy. Let me go back to what I know best. Classroom. Let me go back to what I do best. Lectures. So Fred Matiang'i, someone is disrupting me here. Fred Matiang'i, in my view, can choose to engage in classroom. Having served as a minister for education, he can do that. And lastly, international job market. Matiang'i at some point was rumored to be looking for a job or had secured a job at the UN, which was not true. But I doubt if Matiang'i can actually miss these international jobs, having served as a cabinet minister at that high level. Remember the case of former Kimilili member of parliament, Kimilili member of parliament, Dr. Muhisa Kithui, who served as a cabinet minister, then went on to become a very senior individual at the international level. So Matiang'i has that ability. He can identify a position at the international level, some of which can actually be lobbied for on his behalf by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru still has those networks, can lobby for him, and then he can just take a low profile. Or lastly, Matiang'i can just decide to retire. Having served as a minister for interior, very powerful at that time, I doubt if there's any other thing he will lose if he were to decide to retire. I don't know what to think. Let us wait and see what's going to unfold. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.